Thank you, Lord Mayor. Across our city, and indeed outside this chamber, worried and angry families are demanding answers. Just how did the largest authority in Europe, so soon after hosting the Commonwealth Games and so soon after declaring a golden decade, suddenly become bankrupt? Because what has befallen our city is an unmitigated disaster and a disgrace that entirely innocent and blameless residents will have no choice but to bear the pain that is to come. 4 years, caused entirely by an appalling failure of leadership over 12 years. 12 years, Lord Mayor, of not listening to the warnings, bullying officers, pushing ahead when told not to, structurally flawed budgets with inflation set at 0%, dodging decisions. They knew about equal pay back in 2017 and did nothing. They had equal pay risk set at 0%. It is their incompetence alone that has created a £760 million liability that has now ballooned to 870 because of their further inaction. They implemented Oracle when told it was not ready. They modified it when told not to do so. They caused its cost to go from 19 to 100 to £145 million, which has now crippled our city's ability to manage its own finances. Their internal decisions, Lord Mayor, nothing to do with national funding. A damning list of charges put to this administration. And after they have failed residents in the most spectacular way possible, Cllr Cotton, when proposing his budget, gives scant mention to residents, services, but pivots immediately to national politics, even now still blaming anyone else, anything else but themselves, in the very worst of political misdirection, craven political self-preservation, putting party above residents, politics above the truth. Still conflating council cuts with a self-inflicted disaster. Independent commissioners themselves describe this as self-inflicted. How council ignored the warning signs, how they have created themselves a controlled disaster. Their own internal Labour report here concluding that budget cuts are, quote, not reasons to explain what has happened here, with other authorities taking on, in some cases, greater cuts without the same issues. It is clear, despite their assertions, Lord Mayor, that this crisis is self-caused, was entirely unavoidable and unrelated to council funding. Can't they just be honest with residents? No, because while to make mistakes is to be human, to lie, mislead and blame is to be Labour. And it is this administration, despite all the warning signs that have driven us off a cliff, and while they have a golden parachute, it will be over 1 million residents in our city who will have no choice but to bear the brunt of their financial incompetence, mismanagement and willful neglect. While, what have families done to deserve this? Not to mention thousands of staff paid improperly. They have done nothing, nothing wrong. They are wholly innocent in this affair. But Lord Mayor, what I'm most worried about now is the future of our city's recovery. Not content with the impact of this budget, but of their deceptions that we have seen over and over again by this administration. How many times have we been fobbed off with the answers? Lessons learned, we must move on. How many times have we heard that, again, we've heard in this chamber today, over and again, by the leader now, that he's a new leader, that he was brought in to fix the problems, that he's just found out. When he has been in the cabinet for 12 years, Lord Mayor, he was personally in charge of HR. We must get our house back in order when he has had 12 years to fix the issue. Because with each time that they dodged issues and questions on when he first knew, why nothing was done for years, with every new attempt to blame others, they are proving true our worst fears, that they are leading our city without integrity. Leading me to ask one fundamental question. How can an administration so morally bankrupt, with a record of not learning the answers of the past, skipping out on the city while our services crumble, and even now still trying to pass on responsibility, be trusted to lead our city out of the catastrophe that they have created? For while the leader wrings his hands, it is the residents who will suffer the greatest, clamouring to be heard while being locked outside, demanding answers to what has caused their suffering. This budget is unjust for our innocent residents, unfair to those who've had no hand in causing it, And without genuine openness, transparency and accountability, it is being built on a foundation of sand. Lord Mayor, I will not rest until we get to the bottom of who has caused this crisis. Thank you, Lord Mayor.